Hello, my name is Joseph Burns, and this is my film review for my English 112 class. The film I have reviewed is Legends of the Fall, 1994. It is directed by Edward Zwick and has many great actors in it, including Brad Pitt, Anthony Hopkins. They're probably two of the most famous ones in there, but I've researched many reviews of this film and they're a little mixed, but the consistency between most reviews are that it is well directed and well cast and well written. It is one of my favorite movies just because I am a history buff. So we're going to get into it. I'm just going to go right in with a quote from the legendary One Stab. It's a Native American tracker, and he also narrates the film. But here's a quote from him. Says, "Some people hear their own inner voices with great clearness and live by what they hear. Such people become crazy or they become legends." So right there you can see the title said in the film, which basically comes down to one thing that a lot of quotes or a lot of reviews speak about this film is that they say the film's really about nothing, which is kind of true and kind of not true. It goes through decades of a family's life, but mostly it centers around Brad Pitt. He is known as Tristan. He is the son of Colonel Ludlow. Colonel Ludlow owns a ranch in the beautiful wilderness of Montana, and he raises three sons, the middle child being Tristan. He's wild, and he was mostly raised by One Stab, which is Colonel Ludlow's sidekick, you could say. He was with him during the War of the Western Frontier, and they'd become companions as his tracker. One thing that's interesting is Anthony Hopkins' character, Colonel Ludlow. He despises the military and the government. Even though he served in the army his entire life, he's now retired and a recluse because of what he believes are injustices that were done on the American people, well, the American Indians of the West. So, of course, you can see within his oldest son, Alfred, turns out to be just what the father hates. He goes to the city and becomes a politician, and just trying to live up to everyone's expectations, Alfred ends up being pretty much hated by everybody in the film. The youngest brother, who's not in the movie very long, I can just say that, spoiler alert, returns from Harvard to the Montana ranch, and with a beautiful wife, Susanna. And then World War I takes off, and the youngest, wanting to serve his country or serve the world and be a man, goes up to Canada and enlists in the army. So his brothers follow him, not really, sort of reluctant, and of course it's all against Colonel Ludlow's advice. He does not want his son serving in any wars because he has seen war and does not support it. But they all go up there, and needless to say, youngest brother Samuel dies on the battlefield, and Brad Pitt amazingly kills a lot of Germans trying to find him, and when he finds him, cuts the beating heart out of his brother. Well, I guess he waited till it stopped beating. So that was another interesting point. One of the main things that you could see in this film is that, it's centered around Brad Pitt, his long blonde locks, and he's just an action star in this film and a ladies' man. He's kicking butts and chasing tail everywhere he goes. So they get back from World War I, and there's Susanna, now widowed, and a love triangle ensues between Tristan, Brad Pitt, and his older brother, the more responsible Alfred. So you can see these two different lives change its course. Everyone is attracted towards Tristan, and he doesn't want to do with anybody, and then you have Alfred trying to impress everybody, always doing the right thing, and everybody hates him. So that pretty much plays out through the entire film, and you have a lot. It goes through decades, I can say, from the early turn of the century on into all the way till the 60s. So Brad Pitt, the wild one raised by an Indian who you think's gonna be the last to go, is actually you think he's gonna be the first one to die. He's the last one to die. And how does he die? Of course, fighting a bear to the death. It's still one of my most favorite movies. It takes very cliche themes and makes them very original and entertaining. A lot of critics like Rotten Tomatoes will say that it's too big sky country of a film, trying to play on old westerns like Giant. I believe it does take things from those kind of films, but it also makes it its own and makes it very modern. And I truly enjoy the film, and I think that's why anybody and everybody should watch it, because it is it's the best compromise for it has all the romance and mushy gushy stuff that more the female viewers will watch, and then it has lots of war, guts, blood, and western violence that the men will love. So I think it's a great film for anyone to watch. History lovers, social justice warriors, it brings up a lot of political topics, and it's a very good movie.